Please note, the following material may not be suitable for minors or homophobes. Madarame Akaku was glad to be back in Serete. He was glad to be back in his private quarters, the 11th Division's 3rd Seat's large suite in Zaraki Kinpachi's house, which also functioned as the unofficial headquarters of the division. Most of all, he was glad to be back in the division leader's personal hot springs. His head lay on his towel, folded on top of the smooth stone that lined the banks of the warm pools. His muscular, smooth arms lay perpendicular to his head, caressing the rock. His zanpakuto was, of course, just a hair's breadth away. Steam rose, dancing across his bare, exposed skin. Droplets of sweat mingled with the water vapor, rolling smoothly down his hairless frame. The black sky above him filled with rising steam which vanished into the air. His shiny head rose, and he angrily shouted an order. "Oi, turn the lights off! I can't see the stars!" The lights promptly went out, but it still took a minute for the blurry stars to show, as other lights around the establishment dimmed. Relaxation at its best, he noted. Drowsiness set in, and his eyes dropped shut, showing off the red tattoos by his eyes. Unbidden, as his mind wandered, thoughts of the woman whom he spent the past few weeks with crept into his mind. Matsumoto-chan. Her supple chest, always half bare, smooth skin, rich blonde hair. Arousal arrived. Peeking one eye open, he looked around to assure himself he was alone. He felt no other Reiatsu within 15 meters, anyway. Slowly he lifted his hand off the warm stone and plunged it into the hot water. His pelvis was embarrassingly bald, shiny like his hand. Like his head. Then as his manhood throbbed in his hand, thoughts crept out of his mind, except for the image of Matsumoto-san, slowly moving her hands to her bosom, peeling back the layers of her Shinigami garb until it was all gone. Panting now, his hand wrapped around his pride as a man, moving up and down, and the dressing room door shot open, jolting Akaku out of his reverie, who bolted upright and, after shooting his hand straight out of the water, grabbed the hilt of his zanpakuto out of pure shock. A body leaped through the dark air, slim and bare, bob-cut black hair breezing lightly behind him. It was then Akaku recognized the Reiatsu of the intruder. Excuse me. Yumichika cannonballed into the water, splashing a now irate Akaku. Damn it, if he was going to get blue balls. The pretty boy emerged from the water, running his slender hand through his perfect black-blue hair, which still remained sleek and glossy despite the water. Eyes blinked open, and the purple irises focused on Akaku. "Hey, how's it going?" Yumichika smiled, his teeth still glistening in the low light. Akaku was glad for the cover of darkness. It was going pretty well till you showed up," he uttered, wiping his face dry with his hand, which had now emptied itself of his zanpakuto. "Why the hell did you think it was a good idea to cannonball in here?" "Didn't seem like a bad idea. I just got so excited to relax for the first time in a while, you know?" "God, you're so excitable." Madarame rolled his eyes, focusing them at the shadowed wall. For whatever reason, even with the naked man standing in front of him, his cock remained firm, threatening to peek out of the water. Why don't you relax somewhere else?" "Aw, aren't we friends? I can relax best around you." The statement struck him for a second. That sounded something like a lover would say, but he recovered quickly. "Yeah, well, I don't around you." But was that brat about to cry? "Wait, you were playing the skin flute, weren't you?" The tone in Yumichika's voice told him that he was grinning sneakily, like he did whenever he thought he discovered something that someone wanted to hide. But what the hell does that mean? Yumichika was momentarily flustered. A more beautiful way of saying beating it. He nodded sternly, folding his arms. Eyes narrowed. "What now?" Voice raised. Do I really have to say it? You were totally, oh, it's such an ugly word. Masturbating. Ikaku shot out of the water, an accusatory finger pointed. Hell no, I was not. A moment passed. It took Ikaku a few seconds to notice Yumichika's lowered eyes. He lowered his own eyes to see where the girly boy was staring with such intent. The only beam of light visible shone intently on his massive boner. It's beautiful. What? Ikaku was taken aback. Literally. He tripped backwards over the rocky seats of the pool, his arms bracing himself against the rough ground. Could it get any more awkward? Yep. Yumichika bent inwards, an arm on either side of Ikaku's waist, groping the rocks. His face was just an inch away from Ikaku's manly man part, and he had to resist shuddering from the sensation of Yumichika's breath on it. It's perfect. It's quite large enough to please a woman, Yumichika said, tilting his head from side to side. But not necessarily enough to hurt one. It's so clean. I just want to... His tongue hesitantly curled around Ikaku's second head. Madarame wanted to cry out to make it stop, but it felt so good. From somewhere deep inside of him, he felt a creeping satisfaction take over his body. Oh Lord, what am I doing? Yumichika had pulled away, covering his mouth. I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me. Ikaku raised a fist, towering over his friend. You little tease, I will teach you to do that. Bend over, bitch. The terrified Yumichika had no choice but to comply, trembling. Oh God, what is this? I don't even know. Oh Lord, my mind is so terrified.